Farm attacks in South Africa, September 2023. I'm Klaas and welcome to Urban Bug. Good afternoon, and as I said, welcome to this channel. I just want to get the admin out of the way. If you see the light reflecting on my glasses, it's the laptop screen next to me where I've got a full presentation which is at your disposal. If you want it afterward, I'll post an email address and you can send me a request and I'll gladly share it with you. Then the other thing is, English is not my mother tongue. And somebody said previously that I do have difficulty expressing myself in the English language, but I think it's sufficient. So if there is a bit of stuttering every now and then, here and there, it's not difficulty speaking on a camera and sending this into the whole wide world. That's also the reason why I did most of my farm attack videos in the past few months in Afrikaans. But since there is so much support for South African farmers abroad, I believe in the Netherlands there's quite a strong movement. The people I spoke to recently in the United Kingdom, they also want to know what's going on in South Africa. And then in the United States, there's a lot of farmers that's openly supporting South African farmers, and I think it's fair to get the word out so that they know what's going on in South Africa. We're talking about attacks and murders. We're talking about the scorched earth, and lastly, finally, stock-related incidents. Now, for the month of September, we were, I won't say we were lucky, I would say we are grateful for the amount of attacks only being 9, and we only lost one farmer to death, and I'll discuss that shortly. And then there were also successes. If we managed to apprehend a perpetrator after an attack due to swift action and quick thinking, we count that as a success. And then unfortunately there is still an outstanding matter of a couple that was abducted or kidnapped from a farm in the KZN area, and we still don't have any closure on that, and we still don't know if those people are still alive or whether the case has been resolved. We don't have any information on that. First of all, the murders that we're going to discuss, or the murder that we're going to discuss. Colin Bone was 76 years old at the time of his passing. He was reportedly attacked with a pick handle on 17 September 2023 before being found by a neighbor on the 18th of September. And he was in a critical condition, and the SAPS, South African Police Services, were contacted. He was taken to hospital. Later he was transported to the Grote Schuur Hospital in Cape Town, and unfortunately there he succumbed to his injuries on 26th of September 2023. A suspect was arrested soon after the attack, and that, like I said, that's the only murder that we're working with for the month of September. Let's have a look at the attacks. Now, the attacks in South Africa, there's a tendency with regards to the areas of attacks, and it's also it corresponds well with the properties or areas, land that was allocated for redistribution, but the redistribution can also be is also a point of contention. On the 18th of September, Cullinan, that is also where the big diamond mine is. It's also in the boundaries of the Gauteng province. A female victim was assaulted before she was suffocated with a plastic bag. She was left with minor injuries, and a firearm and a vehicle was stolen. The vehicle was later found back. The next one, and I'm going to send you a photograph or show you a photograph of this person. I'm just going to pop it up on the screen. Bert James was tortured for about 7 minutes by a temporary worker. 2 previous attacks on his farm failed, and this is what the results of that is. And I must mention here that these temporary workers are sometimes foreign nationals, mostly Zimbabweans, Malawians, coming over across the border into South Africa in the northern province of Limpopo, and then working their way down south to Joburg, where they recruited for these types of attacks. September 26, Polokwane in the Limpopo province, a farmer confronts illegal hunters on his land, and he is threatened with assault and murder. One even made a video which was distributed on social media. A case was opened with the local South African police services, and we'll have to see what comes of this case. Sometimes these cases are being turned around and making the farmer the perpetrator instead of the people trespassing on his land. And this is a common occurrence in South Africa. 26 September as well, Kaufman family in Maribashoek, Mokopane, Limpopo province. Now, Mokopane is just to the south of Polokwane in the previous case. The farmer was on his way out to go and tend to livestock early in the morning, and he was promptly bundled back into his house. Him and his family were assaulted and injured, and they sustained light injuries. Now, in South Africa, we have a radio network, and there was some buzz on the radio network, and he told them that if he doesn't answer them, they are going to think that something is wrong, and then they will be coming to his farm to investigate. And he managed to fire off a code word, and the next moment the whole neighborhood reacted. 4 suspects, including his domestic worker, were apprehended. September 27, 2023, the Clark family of Sannieshof in the northwest province of South Africa. During a breaking and entering early in the morning, the farmer and his wife hides in the bathroom, and he fires off a few shots through the bathroom door, and thus returning 7 attackers. Now, it might seem very low and might create a sense of what is the big deal then, with regards to if we look at only 9 attacks and only 1 murder on farms in South Africa for September 2023. But to give you an idea, compared to 2022, in September, there were 9 murders in South Africa on farms. In the past few months of 2023 so far, we had for June 10 attacks and 8 murders, July 23 attacks, 6 murders, and for August 2023, 19 attacks and 3 murdered. The reason why it might be low is that there was a focus on different things in South Africa. And we get to that in a bit. The focus of attacking and murdering might have moved to Veld fires, and but that's inconclusive. It's not something that we can say it's definitely the case. Then the outstanding case that I've spoken about earlier on is the feedback from August 2023. And I'll put the photograph of the elderly couple on the screen for you quickly. Gillian and Anthony Dennis was allegedly abducted from a farm they were staying on in the Mooi River area in KwaZulu-Natal province between the 27th and the 29th of August 2023. The farmer on whose land they were staying noticed something was off, and he investigated. The house was locked, the animals inside, plates of food were still on the table, and this couple was nowhere to be seen. On the 8th of September, there was a demand for a ransom, but that was the last that we heard of this couple or any progress in this case, so we don't really know what is going on here, and we are investigating. As soon as we have any conclusion on what has happened to Gillian and Anthony, we will post it on one of these videos. Next up, we have the Scorched Earth, and this photograph, credit to Jaco Koekemoer, was taken on the 16th of September with the cross planting at the Witkruis monument between Polokwane and Mokopane in South Africa in the Limpopo province. These crosses represent a farmer each, a farmer or his wife or his child that was murdered on a farm in South Africa. And this, in September every year, we plant crosses for each and every farmer that was murdered in the year prior. The year works from the end of, or from the 1st of August of the year until the 31st of July the next year. And for this year, there were 43 crosses for farmers that were murdered in this year, in the year August 2022 to July 2023, plus an additional amount of crosses, which brought the crosses that was planted in September 2023 to 3 weeks ago to almost, well, past 50 crosses. This picture was posted on Twitter, or nowadays they call it X, and my immediate reaction to that was the new Scorched Earth. And I've done a bit of research on that, and I'm going to share that with you in a moment. If I'm a bit off the camera, I need to also read here, not to feed you false information. A Scorched Earth policy is a military strategy of destroying everything that allows an enemy to be able to fight a war, including water, food, humans, animals, plants, and any kind of tools and infrastructure. The policy is the retreating forces. So in other words, the attacking forces are limited in what they can use of the land. Now that concept is switched over, switched around in South Africa, in which the attackers, the offensive, is actually burning whatever they can and killing whatever they can in order to make it for the people that's occupying the land difficult to sustain themselves and the animals. The term was first used in English in the 1937 report on the Sino-Japanese War, 1937 to 1945, and is believed to be a translation of the Chinese phrase that I'm not going to try and pronounce, which means scorched earth. During the Japanese invasion of China, withdrawing Chinese burned crops and leveled cities to deny any form of support to the advancing Japanese forces. This tactic was actually banned by the 1977 Geneva Convention. In the months of September and August and September, the areas lost to Veld fires in South Africa were tremendous. And I'm not talking about just isolated incidents. I'm talking about the Mpumalanga province. I'm talking about Free State province, Northern Cape province, Northwest province. Mpumalanga province, the pasturage that was critical for livestock farmers in the dry months prior to the seasonal rain coming in mid-September and October, rejuvenating the veld. As if the normal seasonal fires were not enough, the frequency and location of these fires were enough to raise a few eyebrows. There's been arson in this country like it's going out of fashion. It's absolutely horrific, the amount of veld fires that was started by people that was just intent on burning everything down. I'm going to show you a video or two just to give you an idea of what these things look like. In the areas of the Northern Cape, these veld fires were running as fast as 45 kilometers an hour and not even stopping for a towed road. National roads jumping right over it, continuing its path of destruction on the other side. And almost impossible to fight these fires. Vryburg area, 300,000 hectares lost. Danielskuil, 200,000 hectares lost. And we can go on and on about these figures. We can count these figures. There's even websites that's recording the areas that is being damaged or that's being demolished, if I can put it as such, by these veld fires. And that creates another problem. With these raging veld fires, in many cases, livestock could not be moved. Not everybody was that lucky. And some of them were simply trapped and in a corner, burnt to death in the veld. It was all over social media. Those who did not succumb to the flames suffocated because of the dense smoke of the dry South African grass. And if that wasn't enough, other measures were implemented to punish South African farmers. In the Bloemfontein area, cattle were poisoned by drinking from a contaminated trough. 185 head of cattle were affected, of which 50 were lost. Look at this. On a farm in the Klawer district, Western Cape province, newborn lambs were bludgeoned by youngsters from the district. The damage of these were in excess of 36,000 rand. Some made it, some was left for dead. After being attacked by steel bars, in some cases the dead, some of their ears were removed. And one can only think what the purpose of that is. Presumably as proof of the act to those paying for these acts. And yes, this is happening. Farm attacks, it's not a crime of opportunity. It's a thing that is planned in advance as far as 90 days before the actual event. Each and every minute detail. They've got spies. Like that case earlier on where that domestic worker was amongst the people, the suspects that was apprehended. Your domestic worker working for your farm, your trusted farm workers sitting on your farm. They're giving out information. They know exactly what's happening on your farm, exactly, and they're getting paid for it. Just like these youngsters that removed the ears from those lambs, probably getting paid for each and every ear because it's proof that the lamb actually was killed. Let me show you some photographs here. Look at this. Newborn lambs. Who would do something like this? Not even a week old. And straight out of the womb, bludgeoned by a piece of metal and just killed mindlessly. Look at that. This is one of the guys that actually made it. Look at the one at the back. I don't think he's made it. There. Dead. Slaughtered. Just bludgeoned. Mindless. Breaks your heart. I mean, what type of person hurts an animal? They say there's a saying, meek as a lamb. Now you come as a human and you bludgeon that lamb. It breaks a farmer's heart. Another farmer reports of hundreds of sheep lost to stock theft. Another one was away from his farm on business, and on the return found some 400 sheep stolen. Now, if we talk about 400 sheep stolen, we're talking about animals, stud animals, that would reach 3,000 South African rand each on auction. And they were gone. And what happens with these a lot of the times is that they're just being slaughtered. There was a case now that somebody reported to me today, where this farmer came across some perpetrators. They were busy slaughtering sheep, and when they confronted them, they were threatened by guns. These guys were armed. What choice do you have? You need to choose your life. You need to let that livestock go. What else can you do? So farmers simply can't anymore. It's becoming increasingly difficult in South Africa. With the situation in South Africa as it is, farmers cannot rely on the authorities. In a lot of cases, 3 months ago, in the Free State province, Verkeerde Vlei area, the two ladies, they realized that somebody was in amongst their sheep trying to steal, and they went out and confronted them, and the situation escalated. And the next morning when they woke up, there were 30 odd policemen standing on their lawn, there to apprehend them. Attempted murder, pointing of a firearm, assault. That's what we're sitting with in South Africa. We cannot rely on the authorities. The authorities start speaking about this, mention farmer tax, and say, but yes, we will investigate. Never comes to fruition. That's why I say, it's damn difficult to be a farmer in South Africa. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to all you people all over the world who might watch this, who have sympathy for us, for our farmers in South Africa. It's being decimated on a daily basis. We discover more and more support each and every day, and we appreciate the support. South Africa is a beautiful country, but there's some ugly things going around. Those of us that stay here, that choose to stay here, that choose not to move abroad, staying in other countries or immigrating to other countries, can testify. We stay here because we love this country, a beautiful country. It's not easy living here. We're faced with a lot of challenges. But as one farmer said to me recently, after a firm boer handshake, we won't give up. This video is dedicated to all those unique men, women, and their children who wake up each and every day, walk out and do what they do best, to be a farmer in South Africa. I thank you. Just a short thank you. I know you're going to watch this video tonight. Chris, thanks for your support in this. Renette, for sending me all the video material. Other people for their support and guidance, and giving me advice here and advice there. And my fellow team members in the Farm Murders and the Tax Statistics group in South Africa. We are new to the scene. We are trying our best, and we've got a lot of support from other groups as well, and from the Rome Institute, Research Institute, on which I rely heavily for my statistics every month. Some of the people there that I spoke to this afternoon. Thank you for your support. It's great serving in a team as great as you guys are. I thank you all.